He's John Smoltz, Major League Baseball Network analyst, future Hall of Famer. Let me start with the poll question there, Johnny. Got a problem with the pitch by Cole Hamels or admitting the purpose behind the pitch?
Well, he's one of the few that will admit it, so I don't have a problem with admitting it. I don't know about the theory that he was being taught, or I guess this is the way he's learned how to introduce youngsters into the game. I don't know about that, but hey, props to him for at least admitting, because most people wouldn't.
Did you ever?
No. I just wasn't taught that way. That was never. I don't know where that comes from. So, to have that, usually that happens after there's some history, or something that triggers it, or maybe a previous an at bat. But that was, I think, obviously that's the first time those guys met.
But the perception of Bryce Harper led to this, that he's somehow entitled, gets calls, he's cocky, confident. What do you think the perception is of Bryce Harper around the league?
No, I mean, those couldn't be accurate or false based on whoever, feels that way. I think some of the things that go on in the minor leagues are exactly that. You got to give the guy time in the big leagues to see whatever. I mean, the guy's a talent, and he certainly, one would speculate one or the other of how someone should go about it. But time will tell, and certainly he came to Washington at a time where they needed him, and they're already having a great year. So, I mean, the things that maybe went on in the minor leagues probably are not going to go on in the big leagues. So one could assure that would be a pretty safe statement.
What's the statute of limitations of admitting that you did hit somebody? You hit how many guys did you hit in your career?
I didn't hit very many. Gosh, it's probably under. That's a great question. It's got to be under 50 for 20 years, which is probably one or two a year. Or
I got you at 57.
There you go, 57.
Out of those 57, how many were on purpose?
I think 3.
What were their names?
What were their names? Now you're really just checking my memory. I'll have to get back to you on that, Dan.
You're lying, John. Come on.
No, I remember doing one thing. I had to brush back Hubie Brooks, and because I think it was.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you had to brush him back?
Well, there was the as the baseball code goes, when one of your guys go down, there was a time where I had to brush him back and certainly get the attention, and he went 4 for 4 after that, and hit a line drive right over my head after I knocked him down with a pitch. So that was a great batter's revenge to having a ball, brush him back off the plate. But I did get in a brawl for hitting John Cangelosi in New York, and the suspension and front cover of Sports Illustrated.
He's John Smoltz, Major League Baseball Network analyst, joining us. Why would you hit John Cangelosi?
That was another situation where I literally didn't try to hit the guy. That I had given up a grand slam against Ryan Thompson, and he took way too long to go around the bases on an 0-2 pitch, and he was in a nice little slump, and that broke him out of him, so I'm sure he was happy, but I was not happy. I mean, I think singing the national anthem would have gone faster than to cross the bases that he did. So I put my head down. I didn't even see who was on deck. I knew exactly that I was just going to say that was not something you needed to do, and I knew I wasn't going to last. It was late in the game, and when I delivered the ball and looked up, John Cangelosi only is like 2 inches from home plate, and so it wouldn't have hit anybody else but him. It hit him, and he came charging out, which made, like I said, the cover of Sports Illustrated. I had, at that time, the longest suspension ever given to a pitcher, because I think President Coleman wanted to make it just a point of, as he said, come out, and he wanted starters to miss 2 games. Well, I got suspended 8 days. That's not 2 games, so the math was off. But I served an 8-game suspension.
Explain this, though, to me. When, let's say, 2 guys homer, you have back-to-back homers, and the next guy who comes up, you buzz the tower.
Yeah, I've never did that. I would never do that. If I can't get somebody out or there's success, I would just never, ever believe in doing something that is going to say, hey, I can't get you out, or, hey, relax. I mean, it's my job to get people out, and I never did that. I know some pitchers have done that, but, I just was not – maybe that was my pride and ego to say, if I can't get you out, I'll find a different way.
Mariano Rivera, given the fascinating career, the durability with a knee injury and planting on that knee as a former pitcher, What are some of the concerns that you would have with an injury like that?
I just think the natural concern is the age and time it takes to heal. But I'm convinced he'll come back. His mechanics were so incredibly. They're one of those things that you can't duplicate. Like there's no cloning a mechanics of Mariano Rivera in baseball. So he seemed quiet. It just seemed effortless. It didn't seem violent, and he had this natural arm cutter that he could repeat over and over again. So I really believe, based on those things, his ability to come back is better than most. Anyone who has to drop and drive or use that base and that right side to really show velocity or create velocity, I don't think that's Mariano Rivera. So I think he'll be able to come back and finish on his own terms.
John's memoir, Starting and Closing, hits bookstores today. I'll actually be in New York City at high noon, Barnes & Noble on 54th and 3rd, signing those books. And tonight in Ridgewood, New Jersey at Bookends there, and calling the Angels and the Rangers game coming up on Friday night. Did I get mentioned in the memoir, John?
Well, here's the problem. We're stopping all production because somehow, some way, there was an oversight and your name didn't get in. So,
John Smoltz stops his book signing. Why would you do that, John?
I wanted to protect. You're an icon, first of all, and I did not put names to a lot of people in the books, and I did not want to create any more problems for you than anybody else. That there's some people I might have wanted to create problems for. You were not one of them.
Are you protecting my secrets?
I am. You and I, there's a lot that I'm protecting.
So the little thing with Blauser in the shower. That
didn't make it.
That did not make it.
No, the passion bucket didn't make it.
No.
That's something unique too.
You did do one thing though when you did give a gesture to this show, right?
Yes.
On your birthday.
Yes, I did.
You pointed to the sky and yelled, "Booyah!"
I sure did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm a man of my word. When I tell you I'm going to do something, Dan.
Well, you and me, we
share the same.
May 15th.
That's right. Yeah. Coming up, I'm doing a book signing in Nashville. So on your book signing, on my book signing, I will be thinking about you, and I will give a shout out to the people in Nashville about Dan Patrick and I.
Good luck with the memoir, John.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
All right, buddy. That's John Smoltz. Starting and closing, he'll be 54th and 3rd, New York City today at high noon. Couldn't be a better guy in baseball.